Hello, everyone. My name is Amberley Stein, and today I'm going to be telling you about my work that I've been doing for my honors thesis under the mentorship of Dr. Ken Walker and Elizabeth Lapido, investigating children's use of causal relevance as a guide during information search. Learners of all ages need to be able to determine which information to focus on among the large space of information available to them in the world. Previous research suggests that 4 to 6-year-olds have a foundational skill that can help them identify which information to focus on. This skill is called causal relevance, or the connections between an event and its cause. For example, imagine a child who finds a nest in a tree outside of their third-story apartment window, and they want to find out which kind of animal made the nest. One way that they could solve this mystery is by looking up every single nest-making animal and comparing each of those nests to the one that they found. Alternatively, they could utilize information available to them about the nest, such as its height in the tree and its geographical location near their home, to narrow their search down to only the animals that can fly and that live in their local area. The latter is a more efficient search process. It narrows the child's search down to only the animals that could have made the nest by thinking about how the nest was made. One tool that children can use during information search is asking questions to gain new information. Previous research has demonstrated that 5-year-olds can recognize that some questions are better for guiding their search than others. There's currently a gap in the literature examining whether children can utilize causal relevance during information search. We're interested in this specifically within the domain of informative question asking because we know that it's a robust tool that children can use during information search. The study investigated whether 5 to 7-year-olds could use causal relevance as a guide during information search. Based on previous work suggesting that children possess an intuitive understanding of causal relevance and that they can identify informative questions to ask, we hypothesized that if children can use causal relevance as a guide during information search, then we would expect them to choose causally relevant questions more often than chance given a choice between a relevant and an irrelevant question. Data collection is currently underway with a target sample size of 144 5 to 7-year-olds. Currently, 35 to 7-year-olds were presented with a storybook task in which a child named Amy found that one of her 3 pets made a mess in her kitchen. Participants were then presented with 3 forced choice trials. During each trial, children were given a choice between 2 questions to ask about Amy's pets. Critically, one question in each trial was causally relevant to the clue in the story and one was not. For example, in the ability trial, children are told that for each pet, they can ask, can it climb or can it make noise? Since the mess was found on top of the fridge, the pet's ability to make a mess up on the high surface depends on whether or not it can climb, but not on whether or not it can make noise. This process was then repeated with 2 other categories, appearance and preference. Preliminary results are remarkably promising. A 2-tailed exact binomial test revealed that an overwhelming majority, over 80%, of questions chosen by participants are causally relevant. Additionally, this pattern is consistent across age groups tested. A logistic regression determined that 5, 6, and 7-year-old participants are all choosing relevant questions over 80% of the time. These preliminary findings show that 5 to 7-year-olds overwhelmingly chose the relevant question during the forced choice task between a relevant question and an irrelevant one. These findings strongly support our hypothesis that children can utilize causal relevance to increase efficiency in information search. Once we complete data collection, we'll be able to reassess for an effective age, and we'll also conduct a mixed effect logistic regression to assess for effect of question categories such as ability, preference, and appearance. If we continue to see these patterns in the data, we will have a very powerful evidence demonstrating yet another tool that children can use in their quest to understand the complex world around them. Thank you so much for listening.